Hey guys, I'm here with today's poetry lesson. I just kind of want to walk you through it. I know that yesterday's poem was really difficult, and the reason that it was difficult is because you read that poem and there's not much there. William Carlos Williams was not a man of many words. He cut to the bone. He didn't add any unnecessary things because he wanted you to supply those extra details. He wanted you being able to use your imagination to be part of the reading experience. So it's kind of a genius thing, but it's kind of a big thing when you think about trying to just pick that up on your own. Obviously, if we had been in class, we would have had some really awesome discussion about that. Instead, your crazy teacher just posted it and then didn't give you any video support, didn't do a Google Meet with you. And so I'm sure that was very frustrating. So for that, I am deeply, deeply sorry. I've learned my lesson. I do not want to put you guys through that again. So I'm here with a video lesson to walk you through this. Also, I noticed that a lot of you guys, I think probably because you're feeling confused or frustrated, you're jumping to my notes page and then you're just copying those things and putting it on the Google Doc. Remember, when we do poetry in class, we walk through the lesson and then you go back into the poem and you make your own notes, analyzing for whatever I've asked you to analyze for in the response stance. You share your notes and then I show you mine because you guys often don't end up needing my notes. You notice those things on your own. My notes are just there to draw your attention to something that maybe you didn't notice in the first place. So when you do these lessons at home, please make sure that you're looking at the poem and you're putting your comments or your notes on the poem before you jump to mine. Remember, this is not for a grade. This is just learning how to go in and analyze and talk about what we notice. So there really isn't any reason just to copy my notes. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know what you notice. And if you're confused, let me know that and I will help you with that. So without any more of that explanation, let's just jump into the lesson. Yesterday I told you that poetry was transformed by William Carlos Williams' idea that a poet's vision begins in perception, in looking at and noticing the real world. Here's a student poem, or rather two drafts of the same poem that shows what I mean by that transformation. Eben was an 8th grade poet. Read his first draft of The Tree. The tree. In spring, your leaves start to come back, and the forest grows with color. In summer, your leaves turn a brilliant shade of green, and your benches reach for the sky. Branches. Sorry, guys. In fall, your leaves turn beautiful shades of orange and red, filling the air with color, and then they begin to fall, slowly downwards, making the ground crunch beneath my feet. In winter, all your leaves are gone. Just skeletons live in this age. The seasons, they are different to a tree, but all of them are beautiful. This is not a terrible poem, but it's a general one. The problem is that the subject could be any deciduous tree anywhere. We can't see it, so we don't get much meaning from a poem about it. It's a standard stereotype tree. When Eben talked with his teacher about the tree, she explained that as a reader, she couldn't see this tree in her mind's eye or feel it in her heart. She made a suggestion. You know, Eben, there's a big oak on the edge of the soccer field. I wonder what would happen if in your next draft of a poem about a tree over the 4 seasons, if it began with observations of our oak, if you grounded your poem in the images that a real tree brings to mind. So Eben went outside with a clipboard and a pencil and he looked hard at the old oak. He took notes about the images and memories that came to him during this act of perception. The final draft of his poem is no longer about any tree, it's about the essence and meaning of one oak tree. So follow along with me as we read his second draft of this poem. And you can see he's changed the title, and you can see that it appears to be longer and separated into stanzas. So let's take a look. Follow along with me. Seasons of the school oak. In fall, the children rest under you, backs against your massive trunk, books in hand, as you drop golden leaves and acorns and decorate what lies beneath. In winter, a tall skeleton dressed in white, you watch carpools and children come and go, while snow buries everything and you wait. In spring, your leaves fill the air with green as you watch the children in the field play soccer, and everything, including you, comes back to life. In summer, when the kids are gone and the heat grows, you enjoy the silence while it lasts, but miss the company of the children. All right, so I just want you guys to go back into Seasons of the School Oak on your own, and I want you to mark the lines that you can see and feel. Obviously, Eben did a much better job on this second draft because it referred to a specific tree. Therefore, his details became more specific, and you could see what he was describing and maybe even connect to it. It's very obvious that this is a tree that is growing at the edge of a school playground. And so obviously there are interactions with the students. So you would do this by going back in and you would just highlight the lines that allow you to see or feel things. So you could talk about the sense of touch, or you could also talk about like emotions or feelings in that way. So this part where it says children rest under you, backs against your massive trunk, I'm going to highlight that, but then up here, this button right here, if I hover over it, it says add a comment, and it's going to allow me to comment on those lines that I just highlighted. So I'm going to say, I can see students sitting under the tree with their backs against its very large trunk. And then the other thing is I imagine that trunk feels a little rough against their backs. So if I'm thinking about the sense of touch, I can feel that also. So I might add a little comment about that. I can feel the rough bark as they lean on the tree. So then I would just hit the comment button. That would post. Please feel free to mark as many examples as you can. The more of your thinking that you're able to show me, the better. Because remember, I need to see what you're noticing as you're reading and analyzing. So the more examples you give me, the better I am able to assess where you're at with this. In closing, as we look at starting our own poems, keep this in mind, that so much depends on noticing the qualities of a tree versus general principles of treeness. As poets, try to make this distinction. Look before you write and recognize that perception is a way to kickstart your poet's imagination. I'm going to jump over here really quickly back here, and I'm going to show you my notes. You guys have not had your mini lesson yet on the rule of write about a pebble, but this will totally make sense when we teach that lesson, because it's when you look specifically and not generally at things. This first draft was way too general. This third draft got more specific. These words show the poet's feelings about the tree, and then I just pointed out some things for you to notice that don't have to do with what you were able to see and what you were able to touch, because that wasn't the only thing that Eben did well in this poem. I hope this helped. I hope this was less frustrating. Go ahead and go back into this assignment and post your comments and highlight what you noticed, and let me know if you have any questions. Love you guys.